Pleasure to acknowledge the enormously important work that Pastor John Hagee and his ministry have done for Israel and for Israeli-American friendship. I think that this should be put in perspective. The rise of the modern Jewish state would not have been possible without the support of Christian Zionists in the 19th century. Some of the greatest names in the 19th century were British and American Zionists, Christian Zionists, who championed the return of the Jews to their ancestral homeland, who in fact preceded Jewish Zionism by a full 50 years and supported it in its initial rise. Theodor Herzl found the greatest support among such people as Arthur Balfour, Winston Churchill, and many, many others in the United States and in England, who believed that the rise of Israel was a parable for all humanity, that if our people, the most persecuted people, could realize the dream of ages, ingather the exile in our ancestral homeland of the land of Israel, then this would be a sign that redemption was possible for all of mankind. In many ways, this same partnership is being repeated today by Christian Zionists around the world, and I'm proud and privileged to call Pastor Hagee one of their leaders. He has been indefatigable, tireless, totally outspoken, and totally unbending in his support for Israel against our common enemies. And we do face common enemies today. We stood together against communist totalitarianism. Israel was the stalwart friend of the United States as we repelled time and again the attacks of Arab armies supported by Soviet Russia. After each defeat, the Russians built them up again, and we defeated them again and again until the Soviet Union collapsed and until some of our Arab neighbors let down their sword, beat them into plowshares, and we now have peace with some of them, and with God's help we'll have peace with more of them. But this peace is being threatened by a new force that has risen, a new form of totalitarianism, militant Islamic totalitarianism that threatens many Arabs and threatens, of course, everyone they consider are infidels, that is, non-believers to their twisted conception of Islam, their conception of Islam that has to be won by the sword, where selected infidels are marked for destruction, first and foremost Israel, but many others are marked for destruction and for subjugation. This belated rise of militant Islam is endangering the entire world. It has hurled their suicide bombers into the towers of Manhattan, into Washington, into the heart of London, into Bali in Indonesia, into Madrid, and of course against Israel time and again. And that's just the first course. They have a much larger plan involved, that is to resurrect a triumphant Islamic empire ruled, of course, by them, in which the West would be vanquished. This is not merely a physical battle or a political battle. It is a battle against our common values, the free societies, the democratic way of life that we enshrine, the value of the individual that we hold dear. To them, this is all anathema. To them, this is all something that has to be destroyed. And we need people who will stand in the breach, people who will say the right thing and do the right thing, even when it's not popular. I heard Pastor John Hagee well before September 11th stand up for Israel, standing up for America, standing up for our common values and beliefs. He did this when the tides of fashion were moving in another direction, where the winds of fashion were blowing in an entirely different direction. He's totally impervious to this. He speaks his mind, our values, and I respect him for that. I think you're fortunate to have him in his ministry. You are celebrating your 25th gathering and also your first national gathering. And I want to send you my best wishes for your success, for our common friendship, our common civilization. May God be with you.